Wow, this is one of the most annoying one-drops I've seen in a while. So, Lightstall Inquisitor is 1 white mana for a 2/1 Angel Wizard with Vigilance. When this creature enters, each opponent exiles a card from their hand and may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Each spell cast this way costs 1 more to cast. Each land played this way enters the battlefield tapped. So for a 1-drop, this is really strong. Because a 1 mana 2/1 generally is on rate for aggressive decks. She has a Vigilance. That means you can swing in at your opponent, and then if you need to, you can chump block with her and hopefully trade. But she forces your opponents to pay 1. So she basically becomes a 0 mana 2/1. And that's pretty strong. And she's super versatile because you can play her on turn 1 as your beater, and then the worst card costs 1 more to cast. Or you can play another aggressive 1-drop and wait later into the game when your opponent has less cards in hand, so they have less options on what to exile. And that was only 1 mana of your turn. You can spend the rest of your mana playing threats. So a card that works really well with Lightstall is Avian Interrupter. It's 1 of any color and 2 white for a 2/2 bird rogue with flash flying. When Avian Interrupter enters the battlefield, exile target spell. It becomes plotted. And spells your opponent cast from your graveyard or from exile cost 2 more to cast. So Avian Interrupter is already a really strong card. Normally it's used to just stop board wipes so you get another turn to hit your opponent. And it sees some marginal play. But it synergizes so well with Lightstall because its last text makes all spells cast from exile cost 2 more. So now when they exile a card from the Inquisitor, that spells cost 3 more. It can make a really interesting, white aggressive deck that just focuses on exiling your opponent's stuff and making them cost even more. It sounds like a super annoying strategy, but one that could be viable. So a good way to counter this card is to run lands that already come in the battlefield tapped, like the ones that surveil, or they become into creature lands, because you can exile that. It comes in battlefield double tapped, so that's nothing. Don't lose any value. That is the best scenario in this case. But your opponent still doesn't feel too bad in the scenario because they still got a creature out of it. Now for Commander, Dranith Magistrate is insanely strong because it stops your opponents from playing their commanders. So it's 1 of any color and a white for a 1/3. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. So in CDH, this card sees a lot of play and works really well with Lightstall Inquisitor, because now they just literally cannot cast the spell they exile. And the coolest thing about this card is it works for each opponent. So in Commander, this card could get you so much value, especially in a type of Blink deck, where you can just replay this, and every time it comes in, your opponent collectively have to pay 3 extra mana for your 1. And the more you blink this, the less option they have in their hand. It also has really good creature types. It's an angel and a wizard. Both of those have tribes that this could fit really well. And if you're just playing an angel deck, I don't see why you wouldn't just run this in. I think this card is so strong that it will see standard play and commander play. So those are my 2 favorite formats. I think it's a bit slower for modern. Hardlight Containment is 1 white for an enchantment aura. Enchant artifact you control. When this aura enters, exile target creature an opponent controls until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchant permanent has ward 1. So this is pretty much a Sheltered by Ghost for artifacts. And if you don't know, Sheltered by Ghost is absolutely insane. It sees play in pretty much any white aggressive deck, and some decks just splash white just so they can run Sheltered by Ghost. A lot more decks strategies run creatures than strategies that run artifacts. So Sheltered by Ghost is more general, but people run a lot more creature removal than they run artifact removal. So Hardlight Containment is a lot harder to deal with. It's half the mana, so you get half the ward, which I think is fair. It doesn't give lifelink, which is a really important part of Sheltered by Ghosts. So in artifact decks, I think this is incredibly effective removal for 1 mana just exiling an opponent's creatures is crazy. Especially that you have to pay more when you target it. But it does have some negative synergy with the deck itself, because this is an enchantment. It's not an artifact, and you want to play this in artifact deck, so it won't count as that towards the deck. I still think it's such a strong rate that this will still definitely see play in artifact decks. It could also work as like some pseudo protection. If you want a creature not to be killed, you play this, you exile a token, and now your creature has ward 1, so it's harder to kill. That's a really cool application. So just like last card, this is strong enough to see standard and commander, but for modern, I still think you really want to be running as many artifacts as you want in those decks, that this could be just a sideboard, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't see play in there either. Patrolling Peacemakers, 2 of any color and 1 white for a 0/0 artifact creature robot soldier. With this creature enters with 2 1/1 counters on it, and whenever an opponent commits a crime, proliferate. So in a game of Commander, so many crimes get committed. So if you care about proliferating, this card becomes insane. It could get so much value so fast. It even gets value if it becomes the target. So if they choose to kill it, you still get a free proliferate on your entire board. So for decks that care about 1/1 counters, poison counters, planeswalkers, there's a lot of different decks that would absolutely love this. And I'm saying it's as strong in those decks as Heuristic Study. That was everything I had to say about these awesome cards. If you liked the video, please like. Please comment some cards you want me to make my next video on. And subscribe if you want to see my top picks for this entire set. And have a good one!